I have started this series from Osho's talk on Akshi Upanishad from his book Vedant, 7 Steps to Samadhi. Once it happened that a fish in the ocean heard somebody talking about the ocean. The fish heard it for the first time, that there exists something like the ocean. She started to search. She started to ask and inquire, but nobody knew where the ocean was. She asked many fish, great and small, known and unknown, famous and not so famous, but nobody could answer where the ocean is. They all said they've heard about it. They all said sometime in our past, our ancestors knew about the ocean. It is written in our scriptures. And the reality was that the ocean was all around. They were in the ocean. They were talking, living in the ocean. Sometimes it happens that the closest, the nearest, is so obvious that you can forget it. The nearest is so near that you cannot look at it. Because even to look at something, a certain distance is needed. Space is needed. And there is no space between you and the divine. There is no space between the fish and the ocean. No gap. The fish is part of the ocean, just like a wave, or the ocean is just the infinite spread of being the fish. They are not two. They exist together. Their being is joined together. Their bodies may appear different, but their inner spirit is one. It is unitary. The ultimate truth is not far away. It is not distant. It is near you, close, closer than you are to yourself, but still you go on missing it. And you have been missing it for millions of lives. This continuous missing has become a habit. Unless this habit is broken, the closest remains the most distant. Unless this habit is transcended, God, truth, or whatsoever we may call it, remains just a myth, a theory, a doctrine, a belief, but not an experience. And unless the divine is your experience, the belief is futile. It is not going to help you. On the contrary, it may hinder you, because just by believing in it, you deceive yourself that somehow you've known it. The belief becomes the deception. It doesn't become an opening. In fact, it closes you. It makes you knowledgeable without knowing it. It gives you a feeling of knowledge without any intimate experience of it. Remember, untruth is not such a great hindrance as the belief in the truth. If you believe, you stop seeking. If you believe, you've already taken it for granted. It cannot be so. You have to pass through a mutation. Really, you will have to die to be born again. Unless the seed that you are dies, the new life cannot sprout out of it. Belief becomes a barrier. It gives you a full assurance that you have known. But that is all you have got. Belief is just borrowed. A Buddha says something, a Jesus says something, or a Muhammad. And then we go on following it, believing in it. This can create such a situation within you that the distant will appear close and the closest will continue to appear distant. It creates an illusory mind. We go on asking about God, whether God exists or not, and we argue much for and against. Some believe, some disbelieve. Some say it is just a myth, and some say it is the only truth. But they all depend on scriptures. Nobody has an immediate experience. When I say immediate experience, I mean experience that has grown into you or into which you have grown intimate. So intimate that you cannot feel where you end and the experience begins. God cannot be an object of any search. He remains the very subjectivity. You're not going to find him somewhere because God is everywhere. If you start looking for him somewhere, you will not find him anywhere. All that is divine. God just means the whole existence, the totality, the ocean that surrounds you, the ocean of life. The first thing to remember before we enter into this intimate search and inquiry, into this intimate experience that people have always called God, or Buddha has called nirvana, or Jesus has called the kingdom of God. Names differ, but the experience indicated is the same. The first thing to remember is it is not far away. It is where you are right now. You are sitting in him, breathing in him, breathing him through him. This has to be continuously remembered, constantly remembered. Don't forget it for a single moment, because the moment you forget it, the whole search becomes wrong. The moment you forget it, you start looking somewhere. Therefore, maintain it. Remember it continuously that it is exactly where you are. The very center of your being is its center also. If this is remembered, the whole search will become qualitatively different. Then you are not in search of something outside, but something inner. Then you are not in search of something which is going to happen in the future. It can happen right now. It is happening. Then the whole thing becomes very relaxed. If the truth is somewhere in the future, then you are bound to be tense. Then you are bound to be worried. A deep anxiety is bound to be there. Who knows whether it will happen in the future or not? The future is uncertain. You may miss it. You have been missing it for so long. But the divine is here and now. The very existence, the very breath, the very you, then there is no uncertainty. Then there is no worry. Then there is no anxiety. Even if you go on missing, you cannot miss him. You may have missed him for so many lives, but really you have never missed him because he has always been hidden there, waiting for you to turn within. You have been looking outside. You have been focused on the objective world. That which you are seeking is hidden within. It is your subjectivity. God is not an object. God doesn't exist as an object. Whatsoever theologians say, they are absolutely wrong. God doesn't exist as an object. You cannot worship because he is hidden in the worshipper. You cannot pray because he is hidden there from where the prayer arises. You cannot seek him without because he is your withinness. The first thing to remember is this. Because if it is remembered, then the whole effort becomes qualitatively different. Then you are not going somewhere. There is no hurry. There is no impatience. Rather, on the contrary, the more patience that happens to you, the easier becomes the search. The more you are not seeking him, the closer he is to you. When you are not seeking at all, when you are just being, not going anywhere, after anything, you have reached. The thing has happened. This search is going to be qualitatively different. The search is in a way a no search. This seeking is in a way no seeking. The more you seek, the more you will miss. If he was far away, then it would have been all right. But he is here, he is now. This very moment, God is happening to you because you cannot be without him. He is the ocean, you are the fish. So don't be in a hurry. Don't be impatient. There is no goal. The very effort is the goal. We will not be meditating to gain something, to achieve something. The very meditation is the goal. Meditation is not a means, it is the end. So don't force yourself, rather relax. Don't run after something, some ultimate, some God, some XYZ. Rather, stand still. The moment you are in total standstill, you have reached. Then there is no more. Then this can be done any moment. If you understand this can happen this very moment, God is life, God is existence, God is the case. Thank you. Namaste, everyone. Thank you for listening to this wisdom from Osho, from the Vedanta 7 Steps to Samadhi. If anyone has got anything to share, please feel free to unmute yourself or even switch on your video and share anything that you would like. Thank you. Thank you, Darshanaji. Ramesh, have you got anything to share?
Namaste.
Namaste, Ramesh.
Yeah, it was so very nice, Dineshji. And Osho is one of my favorite authors. I still remember his book, The Book of Man, when I read how many changes it had got inside me without me consciously doing it. It was so naturally happening through his way of explaining things. So he's such a wonderful person, making things so very simple and completely changing everything that we know until that moment. So thanks a lot for sharing this beautiful wisdom. I was just telling Madhu, we were listening on the loudspeaker, and I said, it's like you just want to be there in listening to this flow of simple words, so profound and so connecting. So thanks a lot, Dinesh ji.
Thank you. Oshoji's wisdom is all about here and now, and basically we are there being the witness. So it is so true and it is very profound. So friends, thank you very much for joining this evening's wisdom. We will continue with this Vedanta series by Osho, and hopefully we will gain quite a lot from listening to these sessions. Thank you and namaste everyone.